All right, so this is a comment you'll see a lot, and I'm going to declare I'm not attacking this person. I'm going to try to educate them. But this is a comment you see a lot, and they have a whole chain in the video I did about vans being destroyed, about why it is these poor businesses just can't donate. I mean, it'd be a liability. I mean, somebody get hurt, and all right, so let's address this. There is currently a law that does protect businesses from liability for food. Now, there is not one that I can find for goods, but I'll tell you why that doesn't matter anyway. But for food, you can look up the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act. That 100% protects any business that donates food to charities, shelters, etc., from being held liable for any damages caused by that, because it's being acknowledged this food is being donated. So no, what you're saying is false. They've been protected for a while against that. As far as the donating shoes and somehow a defect in that shoe could hurt someone, no, that's not accurate either. And the reason for that is that you would not be able to sue the company because it was bought secondhand, it was bought used. There's processes for these. This is corporate propaganda pushed out to make you think that there's nothing else these companies can do, when in fact there is. The reason that they're destroying the goods is because it is easier to get the tax write-off, is what the issue is. That is also, they just don't want people wearing their products for free. That's all it comes down to, is they just don't want people wearing their products for free, because the attitude among businesses, if I can't make money off of it, nobody can have it. Even if it wasn't going to sell to begin with, you can't have it. Businesses get to write off things for multiple reasons. If it doesn't sell, they can claim a loss. They can depreciate the item. They can write off sometimes the labor for production if they, claim that it just doesn't work. There's a lot of items in there. And if the overarching issue is companies were held at liability, let's say that they were, then the law needs to be changed. Another act, like the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act, needs to be passed so that way they are protected from liability. But even with the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act, I have to keep reading because that's a lot of words, you still see businesses like Einstein Bagels throwing their stuff in the trash. Even though they could donate it, they don't. And throwing away hundreds of bagels, every day, more than hundreds. It's usually, from what I've seen, just in the one case I've seen, it's usually a few hundred. We're talking garbage bags, giant garbage bags full of it, tainted with cigarette ash and with spit and other stuff that are being thrown in the trash. That, if that's one location and you multiply that by other locations, that's probably tens of thousands of bagels thrown out daily that could be going to homeless people, because they're not bad. They'd still be good for that day, and you'd feed people at least a breakfast, if not more. And to further that, even if it was just the bagels, getting bagels and then other foods together to make a complete breakfast for someone who doesn't have that is far better than just throwing this stuff away. And it also offsets some of the costs that these charities and other places have to deal with. But no, what you're stating and what the comments that you stated were all false. They are all false. And even if, again, there's a liability issue with goods worn, shoes, somebody gets hurt, the company should be protected from that if it's being donated. I have no problem with that as a person. I'm not saying that these companies should be liable for the goods for it. But if they're producing products that are so defective, so badly defective, your concern is somebody might get hurt by wearing a donated version of that, then maybe we need to look at the production practices of that company. I'm fine with that, and that's the other thing. Companies don't want that either, right? We've seen it with Walmart, where they don't want you looking into their production manufacturing techniques in Bangladesh, where factories get burned down because of substandard conditions or just collapse. You can look that up. Walmart had a factory collapse. That's why they changed their production country, because one of the factories collapsed, killing a bunch of the workers so they could make jeans at like $2 a pair to sell you for 20. So yeah, there's definitely some issues there, but please look into everything before you just spout off comments saying that, oh, these poor companies and they'll be liable for damages. And no, they would not be. There's no case that I'm aware of where somebody got sued, a company got sued because somebody found their shoes in a dumpster, or somebody got a pair of their donated shoes sued. If I go to Goodwill and buy a pair of shoes from a company and I hurt my ankle, I can't sue that company. If I buy a pair of Nikes, same with resell. This is the same thing for resale, and I hate this. People are like, oh, well, you can't sell a product in resale because the company could be liability. No, they're not. Nobody goes to eBay and thinks, oh, I'm buying this from Nike when it says used. That's not the case. If somebody is, they're being ignorant for the reason of trying to get something, like, a lawsuit. And so these laws need to be fine-tuned. So please look into things before you say these things.